In this space, we're going to start some tomatoes with squash. In my area, I am very, very wet, and I want to put my tomatoes in the ground, but it is very, very swampy until June. So I'm going to start mine now when you can normally start them in February for Zone 8A and have them ready to go. I don't want to baby them through all of our rain, and I'm going to plant them out in June. You can normally plant them out the end of April, beginning of May, and I think I still have some time, which is why I'm going to go ahead and start my squashes as well so that they are ready to go in about a month. They'll go out, and my tomatoes, they'll still be going. I'll probably up pot them at that time. I'm using the seed starter, the organic ones. I'm also using the accordion paper pots. My hands are all dirty because I added water right to this bag. And you want to hold the mold, and then we'll just fill this up real quick. Tomatoes that I like to grow here are Tasmanian chocolate. That is going to be my slicing tomato, and then plum regal. They seem to not get powdery mildew. Last year is the only time that I did them, and they are a determinant. So I'm going to have an end game. I'm going to have a major amount of tomatoes come in. I can freeze them if I am at work out of town, and then I can process them. We can enjoy them quickly. I can share them at church. But I did not take a few of these plants out, and they actually started reproducing all the way through August, when probably August or September, when I finally just removed them as determinants. So they're not supposed to do that, but I like them because they're not going to overwhelm me with their height. I just want to deal with something that's going to be short-lived and be easy to trellis. Now, they are very expensive. Seeds. This one only came with 40 seeds, and I did use it last year, so they're considered a little bit old. We're going to do the best we can. I'm going to try to not overseed. My goal is to make some barbecue sauce, some ketchup, marinara sauce, some easy canning items. I hope that this goes well. Okay, now the plum regal. I'm not going to label them. I will know what they are when they grow their fruit. I do not have as many of these seeds left. Ooh, I have exactly 5. Okay, we'll see how that goes. No. Now we're going to put in the squash, and you might ask why. Well, because I want them to produce their veggies for me before I get the pest pressure. So that means I need to have them out in a garden bed where they're not going to be super drowned by the major rain that we get in the spring. So that's what I'm going to focus on, is getting my fruits before I have them taken away. So we're going to start with some cucumber. Don't need a lot of cucumbers. I'm going to just do 1 each. And in Zone 8A, I can actually regrow these after my pest pressure is gone also. I'm trying to not invite them, and I'm trying to still have a harvest. I'm going to do just the typical squash and cucumbers. This is Emerald Delight. We ended up with good production of Emerald Delight from Botanical Interest. Lots and lots of squash. And these squares are going to be nice. I can plant them straight out into the garden. I have some yellow coconut squash. Just seasonally eat it as well. And I'm going to use this dark zucchini. The more plants, if you have space, the more food you have before your pest pressure, and then you can be done with all of the zucchini plants. I'm also going to get together a butternut squash. It's called honey butter from Botanical Interest. And that is a winter squash, but know that winter squash does not mean to grow in the winter. It's shelf stable. So I'm going to give this one a try. Probably put 2 in each. To top it with some vermiculite. This fights off your fungus and retains the moisture. You're going to want to spray it in real good. And these are some big seeds. You probably need a lot of water. So if you want to use just a drip from your watering can, that would be just fine also. You're going to put the dome on top, and then you're going to spray them every day. In order to help avoid the fungus gnats, you're going to you can have fungus gnat traps, or you can use neem oil, which is what I use. And I've been pretty successful keeping down that fungus gnat population. Okay, putting your dome on top. Clips can come out. And then I'm going to put it underneath some lights because my lights come on automatically. But until next time, follow for more.